du plus pdv, and the second one is TdS is equal to dH minus pdv. Now let us see which equation is valid for which particular case. For example, if you will take delta Q is equal to delta E plus delta W. Okay. Now when you say delta W, okay, so delta W could be calculated for a irreversible process. Similarly, delta Q can also be calculated for a irreversible process. Okay, so this equation will hold good for reversible and irreversible both. Similarly, if you see this particular equation, okay, once again it has the term delta W, delta Q. So delta Q and delta W can be calculated for both irreversible as well as reversible. You know, in case of irreversible process, delta W is smaller. So it is for both the uh, processes, reversible, irreversible, and it is for a closed system. Okay, the above equation was for any system. You can see it here because it was having the term delta E, dE. E means total energy, so it can include enthalpy also. Okay, if you will take this particular equation, it contains, now it contains PdV term. So PdVs work only in case of a reversible process, and it is for a closed system. So this equation is for a closed system, and PdV work is present. Okay, so it is valid only for a reversible process. So that is to be kept in mind. Sometimes this type of question also comes in GATE or engineering services examination. Next is delta Q is equal to TdS. So it has to be only for, you know, it is for reversible process. The next equation, TdS is equal to du plus PdV. Okay, now there is some change actually in this particular case. It's a relationship between the properties. Okay, so it is independent of path, so it can be either for reversible or irreversible. Similarly, the next equation also is for reversible or irreversible, because once again it is a equation which is uh, for properties only, where the relation between the properties only. Okay, entropy, enthalpy, pressure, volume, temperature. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you. Then reversible adiabatic work in a steady flow system. I think you can read this topic, and this is the final expression that we get. W is equal to minus VdP, integral minus VdP, and this is the equation for you can say for a flow system, for a flow system. This is the flow system equation for the process of work transfer. Okay, or otherwise, if you will see this, please go through this topic actually. So I think this is already known to you. The second law is a directional law of nature. We have already discussed about it. Every process takes place in the direction where the entropy goes to the maximum. Okay, so it's written here. A process always occurs in such a direction so as to cause an increase in the entropy of the universe. Entropy and disorder. I think these things we have already discussed a lot. Okay, absolute entropy, and then you have to do all these numerical problems. Your mid semester examination will be comprising, I mean, not mid semester, class exam will be, you can say, mostly will be numerical problems. Okay, okay, now let us move to the next chapter, the chapter number 8, which is availability or exergy. Okay, so the name of the chapter is available energy, exergy, and irreversibility. Available energy, exergy, and irreversibility. So that is the name of the chapter, and most of you must have read it earlier also, but I hope that you have not gone into the depth of the topics. Okay, the first thing that it says about available energy is the sources of energy can be divided in two groups. The first one is high grade energy and the second one is low grade energy. The conversion of high grade energy to shaft work is exempted from the limitations of second law. Okay, while the conversion of low grade energy to high grade energy is subject to limitation of second law of thermodynamics. So basically, it is giving the examples of the two kinds of energy. High grade energy is mechanical energy, electrical energy, water power, wind power, kinetic energy, tidal power. So it's all, you can say it's related to power or energy, high grade energy. Low grade energy is heat or thermal energy, heat derived from nuclear fission or fusion, heat derived from combustion of the fossil fuels. So basically, low grade energy is a type of heat energy only, whereas the high grade energy has different uh, uh, names. It can be mechanical energy, electrical energy, water power, wind power, kinetic energy, tidal power. So there are different categories. The bulk of the high grade energy is in the form of mechanical work or electrical energy is obtained from sources of low grade energy such as fuels through the medium of cyclic heat engine. The complete conversion of low grade energy heat into high grade energy shaft work is impossible by virtue of second law of thermodynamics. So you know it, we can't convert the total heat into work. So if the heat energy available to us is 100 kilojoules, then the work energy that we can get is around say 40%, 50%. Yeah. Okay. So once again, available energy, exergy, and irreversibility. Okay. So once again, there are two types of the energies: high grade and low grade. High grade and low grade. Okay. So high grade energy is the mechanical work, electrical energy, water power, wind power, kinetic energy of a jet, tidal power. Okay. Whereas the low grade energy, if you will see, it is always in the form of heat. It could be thermal energy, heat derived from the nuclear fission or fusion, heat derived from the combustion of the fossil fuels. Okay. So basically, all of you know that if we have 100 kilojoules of heat energy, so the work that we can get is say 40 kilojoules or say 50 kilojoules. So naturally, we have to reject certain amount of the heat to the surroundings. Okay. So that means total conversion of heat energy into work energy is not possible as per the second law of thermodynamics. So that is what is said here. And then let us see here that part of the low grade energy which is available for conversion is referred to as available energy. Okay. What is available energy? Which is low grade energy which is available for conversion, which can be basically converted into work, is known as the available energy, and the part according to second law which must be rejected is known as unavailable energy. So which we can't convert into work is unavailable to us. Okay. Okay. So let us see the next topic. Available energy referred to a cycle. Okay. You can see it here. There are two reservoirs. One is at T1, other is at T2. And from reservoir T1, T1 is basically greater than T2. In between, we have a heat engine E. This is a heat engine E. So to heat engine E, we are supplying Q1 amount of the energy, whereas we are rejecting Q2 amount of the energy to the low temperature reservoir. And in between, we are getting certain amount of the work. Okay. So here, uh, there has to be one more condition here. The condition is this engine is a reversible heat engine actually. Okay. It is a reversible heat engine. Only then the symbol which is shown here is W maximum, which is the available energy. Okay. So let us read it here. The maximum work output available from a certain heat input in a cyclic heat engine is called available energy. Okay. Or available part of the energy supplied. The minimum energy that has to be rejected to the sink by the second law is called unavailable energy, or unavailable part of the energy supplied. So naturally, you can see this equation Q1 is equal to available energy plus unavailable energy. Okay, so this is quite understandable. You can see Q1 has two parts, available and unavailable. So W max, or available energy, is equal to Q1 minus unavailable energy. For given values of T1 and T2, we can say that the reversible efficiency, or the efficiency of the reversible heat engine, is 1 minus T2 by T1. And for given value of T1, efficiency reversible will increase with the decrease of temperature T2. The lowest practicable temperature of heat rejection is the temperature of the surrounding. So maximum efficiency is this value, 1 minus T naught by T1. Okay, so basically this T2 must decrease to the value T naught, so that we get the maximum value of the work. Okay, so actually if you see, we can have uh, maximum work in two cases. One could be the case when the temperature is higher than the surrounding temperature, and the second case could be when the temperature is equal to the surrounding temperature. So when we talk about the available energy, if we say it is the between two states, then we are calculating it between T1 and T2. Otherwise, if it is with the ambient, then that is also known as exergy actually. Okay. Now let us see. It has given an example. Now example is that yes. First of all, W maximum. What is the maximum value of W? This is the value of efficiency. This is reversible efficiency, or efficiency max. Okay. 1 minus T naught over T1 multiplied by Q1. So that is the maximum work that we are getting. So this is the available energy basically. Okay. Now it says, let us consider a finite process XY in which heat is supplied reversibly to a heat engine. Taking an elementary cycle, if delta Q is the heat received by the engine reversibly at T1. Okay. So it has, you can say that there is a process XY, okay, during which the heat is being supplied. So rather I will say that the process should occur in such a way that it goes from Y to X actually. Okay. We can consider that there are hot gases which are available to us, okay, which are at state point, initially at state point Y, and then they are moving towards temperature, uh, say if I say this is Tx, or if the temperature Tx is T naught, we can look at it later on. Yeah, T naught actually is given here. Yeah, this is the temperature T naught. So you can see it here. So what we are doing, this heat we are supplying to a heat engine in a reversible manner. So there is a working fluid which is moving in the reversible heat engine. So it is something like this. Suppose I say this is the source. Okay, the source is having the gases. Okay, it has the gases. Just a minute. We have the gases, let us say at temperature Tx, and this temperature is reducing to Ty. Okay, and what we are doing, we are supplying this heat to a reversible heat engine. Okay, a reversible heat engine, and here we have the temperature T naught. Okay, and here we are getting the work. So now we want to calculate this value of work actually. Now you can see See, at every point during the process from y to x, the temperature is varying. Okay, it's not remaining constant. And if we want to calculate what is the maximum work when the gases are losing heat from y to x, then what we have to do, what we have to consider a reversible heat engine. Okay, and we are supplying heat to this engine reversibly in such a way that the working fluid which is flowing in the reversible heat engine is always at the same temperature at which the heat is being supplied to it. Okay, if the gases are at this particular temperature which is shown here by T1, then the temperature of the working fluid which is flowing in the reversible heat engine is also T1. So basically the heat transfer is taking place from the gases at temperature T1 to the working fluid in the reversible heat engine at temperature T1 only. And what we have considered here is we have taken a very small elemental strip here. This is the elemental strip. Okay, and what we are doing, we are supplying delta Q amount of heat at a temperature T1 to this particular strip. So this particular strip, elemental strip, can be considered as a Carnot cycle actually. If you see the first process during which the heat is supplied, the temperature is constant temperature, then there is a vertical line. So I can say it is something like this. This is point A here, here the point B, here point C, here it is D. Okay. So ABCD is a small elemental cycle and we have to calculate the work in this particular case. So what will be the value of the work? It will be the efficiency of this particular engine multiplied by the delta Q amount of the heat. So you can see it here. What is the maximum work? Delta W maximum. This is equal to, this is the efficiency part, T1 minus T0 divided by T1. Okay, it is 1 minus T0 over T1 only because T0 is the lowest temperature multiplied by delta Q. This is the value. So you can see when we open the bracket, we get delta Q T0 by T1 delta Q1. Okay, and it is equal to available energy. What is available energy? Maximum work, because we are going to the lowest temperature. Okay, T0 for the heat engine receiving heat for the whole process XY and rejecting heat at T0. Okay, what is the maximum work? Now total work. So what we have to do, we have to integrate this above equation from x to y. Okay, because the temperature of the working fluid is increasing where the temperature of the gases is reducing. So you can see it here. So if you will integrate this equation, okay, you will get this equation. So integral delta Q x to y minus integral x to y integral of T0 by T1 delta Q. So what is W maximum? W maximum is available energy. So it will come out to be, so when we integrate this equation, first term from x to y, we will get Qxy. So it is basically amount of heat which is available to us minus T0 and delta Q by T1. This is nothing but change in entropy. X Sy minus Sx. Okay, so T0 into Sy minus Sx. Okay, so what is the unavailable energy now? Unavailable energy is whatever the available energy was there, from that you can subtract the available work, available energy. So Qxy minus W max. So can you tell me what is the value of the available energy and what is unavailable energy? Yes, if you see the chart here, this figure 8.3, this part, this area is available energy. This is the available energy, whereas the area under this curve, this one, this is unavailable energy to us. Okay, so it is very easy if you try to think it otherwise. If you have to calculate the available energy, what you have to do, you just have to do the calculation of areas only. So what is the area which is equal to the available energy? The area which is equal to the available energy is x, y, 1, 2. So this area is the available energy, and if you want to calculate the unavailable energy, then it is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the area. This is unavailable energy. So what you have to do? See, on a TS diagram, any closed circuit or a closed figure, what does it gives you? It gives you the heat transfer basically. Okay. So if you see, you can easily calculate the value of the work by calculating the change in entropy from 1 to 2 or from 3 to 4. Okay, this is the value of delta x. So this is the value of delta s, not delta x, delta s. Okay, this is the entropy change. So once you know the entropy change, then this value multiplied by this entropy change by T naught, this is the unavailable energy. And if you know the value of Qxy, you can always subtract this area from Qxy. So Qxy minus T naught into delta S. This will give us the available energy. Okay. Any question about it?
सर वो आपने रिवर्सिबल इंजन लिया था ना वहां पे,
हाँ हाँ.
तो उसके बाद आपने इफिशियंसी से होकर के अवेलेबल एनर्जी वाला निकाला, तो वो एक बार फिर से बता देंगे?
Yes, I will tell you. Okay. First of all, let me read the last line. Available energy is also known as exergy. Okay. And unavailable energy as energy. The words were first coined by Rand 1956. Okay. So let us explain you once again. So I will uh, just open a PPT. Okay. Or what I can do is I can can you see it?
यस सर।
Okay. So what I was saying was, suppose this is the TS diagram. Okay. The gases are being cooled from Y to X. Okay. And what we do, suppose this is the minimum temperature T naught. All right. So I want that when the gases are being cooled from Y to X, see, they have the potential to do the work. Okay. We can extract the work from them. How to extract the work from them? If I have a, suppose, a reversible heat engine available to me. This is T naught, and here we have the gases. This is not a reservoir. The gases are being cooled from Ty to Tx. So what I will do, I will take a very small elemental strip where the temperature is, let us say, T. Okay, and here we are supplying delta Q amount of heat. Okay, and it's a sort of Carnot cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a very elemental Carnot cycle. Okay. If it is a Carnot cycle, then you can see it is operating between two temperature. It is temperature T, and lower side it is temperature T naught. Okay. So this is the value of W max which I will get, and then what I am doing is this heat is being supplied to you can say this heat is being supplied to the working fluid in the heat engine. Okay, they were reversible heat engine. Now if I say what is a reversible heat engine, I can consider there is a turbine, I can consider there is a condenser. After the condenser we have the pump, and then we have the boiler. Okay, and here you are supplying the heat to the boiler, something like that. Okay, so I have a reversible heat engine where I am going to produce the work. So there is a working fluid in the heat engine also. So because I am considering it to be a Rankine cycle, so working fluid could be water also. So water is being heated while the gases are being cooled from Y to X. Water is being heated from X to Y. Okay, water is being heated from X to Y, and we consider that at each and every point, the temperature of the water and the gases they are same. Okay, so now for this elemental cycle 1, 2, 3, 4, I have to calculate the value of delta W. Now this is delta W max because it's a reversible heat engine. So how much is the heat input? It is delta Q multiplied by the efficiency of the reversible heat engine. So it means it is equal to delta Q into 1 minus T naught by T. Is it okay? And then if I have to calculate the total maximum work, what I will do, I will integrate this equation from X to Y, because now I can have infinite number of the reversible heat engine between X to Y. So I have to integrate this equation from X to Y. So delta Q 1 minus E naught divided by T. So it means this will be equal to total W maximum, which is also known as available energy, which is also known as exergy. Okay, and this is equal to, now you can see, if you will take, then you can write it as delta Q X to Y minus delta Q T naught divided by T X to Y, which is equal to, if you will integrate the first term, you can say it is Q X Y. Okay, minus T naught is a constant, so it will be equal to delta Q uh, divided by T integral from X to Y, which is equal to Q X Y. And if you will see delta Q by T, because the process is being happening reversibly, so I can say it is equal to T naught into delta S X Y. Okay, so this is the, now what is this? This is Q X Y, and if you will see this particular diagram here on TS diagram, if this is T naught and this is Y, this is X. If I want to calculate what is the total heat supplied, then total heat supplied is this area. Total heat supplied is this area. Okay, and this area is unavailable energy. Okay, so this is actually, this is T naught, and this value is delta S. Okay, this is delta S XY. So QXY, this is equal to area 1 2 Y X minus, if I say, let us say this is A and this is B, then minus area A B to 1. So this comes out to be, so this area is actually available energy. Okay, this is available energy. Okay, and calculating heat transfer for the process, any process, whether it is constant volume, constant temperature, or say constant pressure, you already know the equations. So qxy, calculating qxy is quite easy, or otherwise you know delta q is given by, for a reversible process, delta q is equal to tds. So you already know. So calculating entropy is also not difficult. For example, if the process y to x or x to y is at constant pressure, then what is the value of the heat transfer? In a constant pressure, it is equal to Cp dt. If it is constant volume, then this value will be equal to Cv dt, and so on. If it is constant temperature, then you can calculate it from T into ds. Okay, so it's quite easy to calculate the value of the heat transfer. So nothing, you just have to calculate the area values. If you calculate the area values, you will be able to calculate the available energy, which is exergy. Okay, so tell me, any questions?